These candles were fetched directly from Binance Futures using Python. No manual download, no CSV files, just a clean API request. In this video, I'm going to show you how to request historical clines from the Binance API. Transform the raw response into a structured pandas data frame and convert it into this candlestick chart. We'll use a non-authenticated endpoint. Structure the required and optional parameters correctly. Transform the raw response into a structured pandas data frame and convert it into this candlestick chart. By the end of this video, you'll have a reusable function that imports candles for any symbol and any time frame. Let's build it from scratch. The first thing to do is to import the required modules. Here we're importing the non-authenticated request function. We implemented this in detail in a previous video where we structured a reusable HTTP client for Binance. If you want to understand the internal request architecture, I highly recommend watching that video after this one. Let's go to the documentation to understand what we need. We have the API, title, and description. After that, there's the method and the endpoint. The total request weight is based on the amount of candles we are asking for. The max allowed number of candles we can import is 1,500. Each interval of candles has its own API weight. Then, we have the mandatory and the optional parameters, their type and description. For this case of endpoint, there's a note talking about the start and the end time when they aren't sent. The start and the end time are integer timestamps. Our response will be something like this. This means that each candle is an item from the list, and each candle has its own properties and values. There are some cases that there's an ignore key on the div. It is time to go into the code. Here, we're importing the non-authenticated request function. We implemented this in detail in a previous video, where we structured a reusable HTTP client for Binance. If you want to understand the internal request architecture, I highly recommend watching that video after this one. At first, we will create the function that we'll call the requester function with the necessary parameters we have seen on the documentation. The mandatory parameters won't have any default value. On the other side, the optional parameters will have the none as a default parameter. This function will return a pandas data frame type result. Now, let's just insert a docstring, so this function will be more user-friendly. This docstring basically is a copy of all the necessary info from the Binance API. In this specific case, we have to insert the max candles lemma and set 1500 as its default to protect from errors. In a future video, I'll show how we can overcome this using multiple sequential requests and smart pagination logic to build large historical datasets. Let's insert the endpoint, method, and the dictionary of mandatory parameters. Then, we can insert the optional parameters, but we have to be careful. The limit variable is mutable. Its value depends of the max API limit. So, we must implement a conditional structure to protect its values from the intake parameters. If the limit isn't greater than the allowed number of candles, limit is defined with the max number of allowed candles. If not, its value is the on chosen by the user. We can insert their requested result into a variable to store its value. To make the request, we must insert into the function the URL, mandatory parameters, optional parameters, and the method. We know that the result of this candle import we are working on is a data frame. So the data frame columns can be defined. They are going to be the result that we have seen previously on the documentation, and then a data frame. By using the obtained response and the defined columns, now it is time to convert each column into its respective type, because the values are strings by default. This way, open, high, low, close, and volume will be defined as float. Start and end time will be defined as date time and human readable. At the end, we have to return our new data frame. It is time to test our new function to see if it's working. Let's create some test variables and store the result in two, so we can print it to see the result. When we use toString in a data frame variable, we are converting to a string. With that, all lines and columns are printed. There's the result we were looking for. Open time is defined as the key column, and then we have the others columns from the documentation. Now, we can create a function to draw the data frame into a chart. This can be done with the support of the module MPL Finance. This function will have the candle's data frame, symbol, and interval as input parameters. To access the candle's data frame in a safe way, we make a copy of it and extract the necessary columns to draw. By calling this class, you can use this function to build the chart and use the properties you want to. For the title, a string operation was inserted, because this way we know the symbol and time frame. Let's execute the chart draw function. Here's our data frame, and this is the result. Clean historical Klines, structured in a data frame, ready for analysis. Once we control the data layer, we can start building indicators on top of it. That's where strategy development really begins.